okay, Southern boy. I'm a Southern guy. Actually, Chad's from Missouri. So
I'm from Southwest Missouri, so you can consider me hillbilly Southern.
There you go. Okay, so I wanted to know from you, and I'll get Orange Mike Chad in on this too. Would you rather eat an entire pecan pie or drink an entire pitcher of sweet tea? Are you a pecan pie guy? Sweet tea?
Sweet tea.
Yeah.
Nothing beats good old-fashioned sweet tea.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? Are you sugar or are you like sweet and low? Are you like this?
Sugar.
There you go. All right, Chad.
Well, you're not going to see me on camera. My camera just messed up, but that's all right. I will say that I kind of already go through like a gallon of sweet tea in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, easy choice for me.
There you go.
And I'm not really a pecan pie guy.
Okay. You a banana pudding guy?
Oh,
Apple pie?
Ooh, no, not apple pie.
Banana pudding, though.
I'm actually homemade chocolate pie with meringue topping.
Oh,
That's
wow.
my favorite pie.
That sounds awesome.
You know, if you want to join the Southern Boy Club, you have to call it pecan pie.
Yep.
It's not pecan, it's pecan
pie.
I've always said pecan.
Yeah. Didn't I say pecan? Or did I say...
No, I was like, I don't know if you say pecan or pecan, but it's pecan.
I gotcha.
And tomato.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Okay, so real quick before we get into the insurance part, do you have a favorite dessert, Jody? Being from the South, you got to have something. You got to have a dessert.
I think anything chocolate is my weakness.
Oh, nice. I gotcha. Gotcha.
You know, and as crazy as it may sound, my go-to is Whoppers.
Oh, wow. What? That's a...
Like, are you, so you like the malted, do you do like ice cream malted too?
That's what's crazy. I do not.
Oh, interesting.
However, the malted milk balls, the Whoppers are just, man, they're great.
They're your downfall?
They're my downfall.
There you go. Mine is nerd clusters right now. But anyway, those are so good. I raid my kids' candy stash all the time with that. In fact, I got up in the middle of the night last night and had to go get some candy. You know, we talk about this business being about relationships, and you hear that all the time about this business about relationships. But you had a special moment with Vertafore in that relationship when, you know, our very own Doug Moore reached out to you about, you know, speaking on behalf of Vertafore and what your agency's doing with us. And you had quite the story when you were telling me about that. Could you share a little bit of that? You don't have to go too deep into it, but I would love to hear what that relationship meant to you and kind of tell the audience a little bit about what happened there, if you don't mind.
Sure. You know, every relationship in life affects someone in some way. You know, and professionally, for me, specifically what you're talking about was the game changer for me. That's what let me know, and the light bulb went off. Hey, Jody's doing something right.
Yep.
So relationships mean more than people realize, and people talk about it every day. However, it's one thing to talk. It's another thing to walk it, right? But let's walk it and talk it together. So one of the greatest things that we can do is abide by the golden rule. Right?
Yep.
One of the greatest commands that we can have, you know, just
100%. Yeah.
Be a good person. So here I am partnering with Vertafore in their Orange Partners program, you know, and I'm excited about it, thinking, hey, great, here's this conglomerate tech company helping a small company like me.
Yeah.
Who am I to the world? However, Walmart started as one.
Yep.
With the help of others, look at them now. I've started as one, and with the help of Vertafore and the Orange Partner programs, I'm doing okay. So specifically, what happened was they were having an event come up, and Doug Moore reached out to me and asked me if I would, you know, provide a speech, you know, stand up in front of people and talk about a certain subject. And I said, absolutely. For everything that you guys have done for me, I would be honored.
Yeah.
And then I asked him, what do I talk about? Because I don't worry about it. You know, I got some information from talking to you before where I took some notes. And he said, once you see the subject, you'll understand. And it doesn't matter how much money I have when I leave this world. None of that matters. My house, my vehicles, none of it matters. But what Doug did, that will matter. It will be remembered. It's in digital history right now. So when I finally saw the subject matter, what Doug said to me was, Jody, you just be you and you'll be fine. I'm sending it to you now. And the one thing that he asked me to talk about out of all the agency owners in the country, out of all the agents in the country, I have no idea how many there are, but one person was chosen, and that person was me to talk about the golden rule of agency growth.
How cool.
That's cool.
And how exactly, how can you top that? So
Right.
I've done something right to catch the attention of Vertafore, which tells me I'm doing the right thing for my local community, because it's not just my community.
Yeah.
What I do for the neighbor down the street
Yeah.
affects the cities, and then the counties, and then the state, and then the country as a whole. And I think we just need to remember that, because it started with that relationship.
You're exactly, and I love that. I'm a big relationship guy myself, and I love to hear that story. And we love Doug Moore around here; he's the best. And it feels like the vibe that I get from you, and Chad and I get a pretty good read on people pretty quickly. You're probably a big legacy guy, and that probably meant a lot to you and your legacy that you're leaving behind, whether it's Entrekin Agency or you personally. What did that mean to you from that standpoint? And what would you say the legacy that Entrekin Insurance and Jody Entrekin leaves, in Mississippi where you're from? And I know you're deeply entrenched and your family's deeply entrenched in that area. So, is that part of that legacy? And what is that legacy for you?
For me, is to make it better than I left.
I love it.
So if you look at, again, everyone has a relationship, everyone has a story. To save time, I'm going to be very short. I do not have a background like the vast majority of those who have fallen into the insurance profession.
Yeah.
If you look at the model of what an insurance agent should come from, I'm the opposite. But I've overcome that because of the relationships and the life experiences that I've had. That's what made me what I am today. So whenever I do leave this world, no one's going to remember how much money I have in the bank. No one's going to care about, oh, Jody donated and, he sponsored this, pet adoption weekend. They don't remember that, but they will remember, hey, my house caught fire. We were indemnified. We got everything back the way we were supposed to. And it was easy, thanks to Jody or thanks to Entrekin Insurance. Because when someone wakes up in the morning, other than those of us that are in the profession, I don't know a soul who wakes up and says, wow, it's Tuesday. I can't wait to talk to the insurance guy. No one does it.
No.
Yeah.
It's always a negative thought process. Why? Let's change that. Let's educate.
Yeah. So what are you guys doing at Entrekin? I'm sorry, I pronounced that wrong. But what do you guys do in your agency to change that narrative within your customer experience? What does that look like for your clients, for your community, working with Entrekin Insurance?
Well, it starts with us. Number one, we just have to remember, where we come from and the principles that my business is built upon. And that's I'm just another person just like you. My job is real simple. I'm just people helping people.
Yes.
I know insurance. That's not their job to know insurance. I'm going to educate them. Once I educate that individual, it's up to them to make an informed decision. Now, if they want to make a decision that goes against the grains and the moral integrity of my company, sorry, I'm not going to partner with that person because that relationship is not going to be as solid as I need it to be. I need them to understand the gravity of how important this black and white contract is. If they don't understand that, then unfortunately, we're not a good fit. And every client or potential client is not a good fit for your agency. They might be a better fit for someone else.
Well, yeah. And that being said, you've got relationships with your competitors, your other agents around, because you can probably, from where you stand right now, you can probably throw a rock and hit 15 other independent agencies or captive agencies for that matter. Mm-hmm. And part of your legacy, just from me knowing you, the little bit I've known you, is that's part of your legacy. You have good relationships with those people, and it's not some well, let's step on each other's throat kind of relationship for you. It goes back to that golden rule thing. Talk to me a little bit about how that came about for you and like the relationships you have with other agencies and, you know, how that works with you, again, whether it's referring other clients or just helping them out if they have questions.
Well, I refer people all the time, but if someone calls, as another example, just coincidentally, today I received, 2 phone calls from 2 different agency owners, and one of the owners started the phone call out with, "Hey man, I understand you spoke with Mr. So-and-so." "Yes, sir, I sure did." "Look, man, I appreciate what you told him." Because what I told him was, "Man, your agent is a good guy.
That's awesome.
I don't say leave him. Stay where he's at. You've been with him for years. Just because he doesn't know the answer to this question, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having an ally in this industry." Why do so many agents look at their competitors as competitors? They're not a competitor to me. They just have on a different shirt and different logo than what I have. But we're still trying to accomplish the same goal. So with my clientele, it doesn't matter if I'm their agent. Of course, I want to be.
Sure.
But what's important is I want them to understand that what matters to me is that they understand their insurance policy. That's how we make a difference. The vast majority of the people in this country hate insurance. And there's a stronger word, I'm just not going to use it on air, but they hate insurance. Why? Because they don't understand it. And if you look at me, when I got into this industry, was not the best circumstances. And when I went to my wife and told her what I was going to do, she laughed at me. She said, "Nobody hates insurance more than you." At that point in time, she's probably correct because I didn't understand it. Now I do. So I want to build and solidify my legacy by educating whoever I come across, build that relationship. If they're not my client, that's okay. They know who I am. They know, like for me, other agency owners, they know, well, if I don't know the answer, I can call Jody. I don't care that they're my quote unquote competitor. The information I give them might help someone else. It might change their life. Changing the life of one will change the life of many.
I love that perspective. And I love you talking about, coming from, outside of insurance and other people that say they hate insurance and don't understand insurance. I work with someone every day, like Chad, comes from outside of our industry. And I would love to, because I could tell as he was talking, I was resonating with you a little bit of like, not necessarily understanding, but the more you do start to understand, certain things click with, like, I'd love to hear from you on that, Orange Mike, Chad. Like, where do you think, like, he just said a lot of things that resonated with you. I guarantee it.
Yeah. And I think for me, coming from outside of the industry and kind of a fresh take on what insurance is, not knowing anything about it, not having to, in my lifetime, deal with a ton of insurance issues or things of that nature. I didn't have a hatred for my insurance, but there is definitely a stigma of, it's annoying, it's bad, it's frustrating or whatever. But I think I'm starting to understand that we're all people just like anybody else.
Yes.
And if we are just real with our clients, our customers, our just in general, if we're real with them and make them understand, hey, I'm going to do what I can to have your back, but we got to work together here to make that happen.
And there's only so many things you can control. You can control what you can control, and other things you cannot control. And like, if you don't want to talk about it, we can edit it out. But Chad's been through a recent claim in his life, and that process could have been a nightmare. Maybe it was a nightmare. I don't know, but I think having a good insurance agent probably makes a world of difference in those scenarios.
Yes.
Well, I think
go ahead,
what's funny is I haven't really had to deal with my insurance agent. I'm dealing with more of the claims side of things, and that part for me is probably, unfortunately, not associated with the insurance agent. But I know that, I know that my insurance agent isn't the claim department. So I have to separate that and go, well, it's not my agent's fault if I have problems with the claims department. So there's that.
One of the things there, I appreciate what you just said. I kind of want to piggyback on that a little bit. So, Orange Mike, Chad, I'm going to call you OMC if that's okay.
Yeah,
that's
baby.
fine. That's fine. It's been there.
So OMC, I just want you to just picture this in your head. And then I'm gonna piggyback on your claim. Okay. So just picture you're driving down the road right now. You're driving down the interstate.
I love this already.
All of a sudden, something catches your eye in your rearview mirror. And you look up and it's a police officer. It's the first thing that goes through your head, OMC.
Get out of the way. But that's
Man.
I'm like, oh crap, here goes.
Yeah.
My
Here we
insurance
go,
is going to
right?
be up.
Busted. Yeah.
It's negative.
Yeah.
Okay. That officer, he or she, they have to go somewhere just like we do. Maybe it's their lunch break. Maybe they're going to go say happy birthday to their mom or their dad. Whatever it may be, they're traveling just like you. Just because they get behind you is not a negative thing, just like insurance. Just because you have to deal with an insurance agent shouldn't be negative. Now, let's picture same day. Now you're at home. OMC's at the house. He's kicking it. He's watching Big Bang Theory, my favorite TV show.
Yes.
Right? Watching
Yes.
Big Bang Theory. Sheldon is doing something crazy, and all of a sudden you hear some bang on the door, and someone's trying to kick in your front door. Immediately, you pick up the phone and call 911. You're frantic. You're telling them, hey, someone's trying to kick in. They're trying to rob me. They're breaking in my house. That same officer pulls up. What's your first thought immediately right then?
It's the opposite of negative.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
positive.
God. Yeah.
Right. Thank God.
Yeah.
They're here. Now it's a positive thing. Why is it a positive thing? Because you need them.
Yeah.
Insurance is only sexy. I don't know if I can say that
You
word.
can say sexy.
you can say
we say
sexy.
it. Yeah.
Insurance is only sexy when you need it and it works. Other than that,
Yeah.
it's the most unsexy thing that we have to talk about, right? So now let's talk about a claim. For me, which I'm also an insurance adjuster, the claim is just a claim. As an agent, it's just another piece of paper that I'm filling out. But to you as the insured, it's vital. It can be life-changing,
Oh.
like it was for me.
Oh, absolutely. And that's exactly what I'm
Specifically.
going through now. Right now, what I'm going through is the insurance company, the claims department is not wanting to pay me what the contractor quoted me.
There you
It's-
go. So you want to know who we should be helping there? Your agent. Your
Yeah.
agent should be involved. So like here at Entrekin Insurance, every single policy I sell, every single one of them, insurance agent in it. Orange Partner,
Yep.
I have them. Big reason I have them, claims. They can file a claim on their app. We can see it, take photos, send it. I want to be a part of their claim.
Love
I'm
it.
not here to hold out my hand when they owe me money. I'm here to hold out my hand, shake their hand, look them in the eye and say, Mr. and Miss Smith, don't worry about it. I'm here for you. We're going to go through this together.
Okay, so then
That's the beauty of the relationship.
let me ask you this. Then at that point, should I call my insurance agent and go, should you be my liaison here? Should you be dealing with the claims department and I deal with you? Should you be my middleman?
Absolutely.
They should have reached out to you, but
They should,
but
so
no, I think you're.
do
that's a good
you
point.
understand insurance? Your agent does.
Exactly.
That's why we have an agent, so as parents, which we're all parents, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Do we just let our kids run free, figure it out on your own?
Not always.
Or do we say, okay, little Johnny, right? You get in trouble, come here. Dad's always here. I'm
Yeah.
going to be here to help you. I'm not going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Let me help you along the way. That's my job as an agent. Does that make me different than others? In some cases, yes.
Sure.
But that's also what makes me special
Dude,
because I
I,
haven't forgotten about that relationship and I'm still people helping people. That's
I,
all.
I love that. And I'd love to parlay that in an awkward transition into, going back to that relationship you talked about. And you've had a long relationship now with Vertafore, with our Orange Partners. Your agency's been using QQCatalyst, for some time now. What was that moment you realized that QQ was a game changer for you? That the Orange Partner program, all of that was a game changer. And what is that game changing feature or whatever it is that QQ helps you with?
Okay, so I have weird ways of explaining things.
You are from Mississippi. I'll give you that.
Yep. As a Southern boy myself, I get
OMC,
it.
look, you just won the trophy, my friend.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so
So
let's hear it.
just like my bald noggin, picture an octopus. An octopus has this bald head and 8 arms, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
QQCatalyst is my ball noggin.
Okay.
Its Orange Partners are its legs. Okay.
Oh, yes.
QQCatalyst will do everything that I need it to do, but it is a master of none. A good leader does not have to be the best at every single position. A good leader is smart and wise enough to know to put someone who's better and smarter and faster than what they are in this position. So where QQCatalyst is not the best at accounting, there's software for that. They're not the best at a CRM. They have other software in place for that, right? So if you go to an octopus and you cut its arm off, it's just got a short arm or maybe no arm. Give it some time, it'll grow back, right? That's the game changer for QQCatalyst. They all work. All these Orange Partners that they have, they work in conjunction with the software, which makes it seamless for me. So when you have a small agency starting out, because I'm telling you, I looked at all of them. All these other management systems, they probably thought, man, this guy, he's something else. Because I was very inquisitive, I was very blunt, and I was very direct. What is this? How does this work?
Yeah.
And if it didn't work to my liking, what does that mean for me? I can't provide the quality of service that I want to provide for my client, because all of these independent agencies, all we are is the Walmart of insurance. That's it. Don't matter who you go to. We all sell the same product. What makes you different is you, your individuality, your character, your motto. What drives your company?
I would ask you, do you think that because you're talking about this tech stack that you have, do you think that this makes you even more of an individual? You're able to be your individual better because of your tech?
Yes and no.
Okay.
For the younger crowd, no. For the older crowd, absolutely. The younger crowd, I'm still trying to break the ice of, hey, let's talk about this. I want you to understand why this is important. So auto insurance, as an example, just had someone call, and it's a younger crowd and has a $80,000 vehicle. Oh, I want state minimum limits. No, I'm not doing that. I won't do it. I won't write the policy.
Right.
Before you go somewhere else, let me explain what these numbers mean. This is why this is important for you. So don't just think about you right now, John Doe. Think about in 5 years when you want to have a wife and want to have children, what you will not have because this person is suing you for everything that you're ever going to have because you saved $15 a month.
Yeah.
Let me explain that. So with the tech stack, that helps keep me in check, so that I can be a little bit more personal with my clientele. The younger crowd, they want more everything digital sent to them automatically, less Jodyisms, if that's the way to put it.
That's hilarious.
Funny.
It's funny you say that. I was in California at a conference, and as a group of us insurance guys sitting around a table having dinner at a really great restaurant there in Santa Monica, and our waiter, we were just talking in general, but what we were talking about earlier, people just have this negative connotation of insurance. So we were talking about that around the table, and I was like, let's just prove this point, and see, because there's somebody who's arguing that not necessarily everybody thinks insurance is terrible. So our waiter came by, young guy, probably in his late 20s, which is young to me, and he came by, and I was like, hey, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about insurance? And, of course, he brought up, negative thoughts. But he said, I always just go to my agent and say, give me the cheapest thing. I want minimum limits. I want minimum this. And you should have seen all of us like, no. Like, all of us freaked out. I was like, why do you want minimum limits? Like, what do you mean? It's the cheapest way to get insurance. Isn't that the goal, is to get cheap insurance? And we were like, no. He was like, Geico says save 15% or more by 15 minutes or less by doing this. And Progressive always says this. It's like, I understand. And I'm not knocking either one of those carriers. That's not what I'm saying. But just saying, like, people are trained improperly that we should just go for the cheapest price and this, that, and the other. And if there's more people like you and a lot of the other guests we've had on this show to sit down and educate people, like, do you realize that when you have state minimum limits, if you get an accident, you're not going to be even able to scratch the surface of the cost of their vehicles, their health insurance, or their health costs, their medical bills, their all of these things. And when we told him that, he was like, no, I need to call my insurance agent and talk to him about this because I'm so improperly insured then, but I just didn't know any better. My agent was like, here's the cheapest rate, let's go. But, and to that agent, whoever that agent was, maybe he was told by the client, hey, I just want the cheapest insurance, and maybe he just went that route. Who knows? But I just think it's funny. I wish I could have taken a picture of the table, everybody's reaction to him saying, I have minimum limits. We're like, no. But anyway.
We also need to remember that, we have a professional license, which means we have a fiduciary responsibility to do
100%.
what is within the best interest of our insureds. And that starts with education, because we don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
Ignorance is not a bad thing. They just don't know. As licensed professionals, it's up to us to educate them.
100%.
It is. So I ask them, hey, Mr. John Smith, you're married. It's your anniversary today. And your wife says that she wants you to take her to a nice dinner. I'm willing to bet you're not going to take her to McDonald's or Burger King, are you?
Right.
Because if you do, if it's my wife and I try to take her to McDonald's on anniversary night, I'm going to be sleeping out there in the doghouse.
That's a mistake that'll follow you around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
sir.
The same I'm going to take her to a nice restaurant, because I want the quality for her, and I want my insureds to have that quality coverage that they need when the
100%.
time comes.
And so to bring this back around as we start to wrap up a little bit to the Vertafore Insurance Podcast, and I've loved this conversation. I could talk to you for hours. You should be a motivational speaker. Like, this has just been, I'm fired up, ready to rock and roll. But tying it all the way back around, you're obviously a relationship guy. You're obviously, a tech forward thinker, even in South Mississippi. But talk to me about how those two have married together in your agency. And I can say that because I was born in Mississippi. But, talk to me about how that's kind of married together, how you've been able to, take a Southern agency that's traditionally, most people that I know from the South are going to be traditionalists and like not the most tech forward thinking. How have you been able to realize, okay, I've got to have these relationships, but I have to have this tech. I can make my tech work for me to help me build more relationships. How have you done that in your agency?
Honest to God truth, I just piggybacked off of the program that Vertafore has in place for the Orange Partner program. I was smart enough to see, I'm kind of dumb, right? I got to learn all this. Okay? So I was smart enough to see my stupidity. So I was like, okay, what can I do? And now, after listening to your podcast, I'm starting to realize where I thought I was ahead of the game. I'm not necessarily behind the curve, but I'm on the cusp of it. I got to get back in front of it. I have to use a little bit more tech. But one of the things that I do appreciate, which is I just hired a new agent a little bit over 2 months ago, who has been a licensed agent for right at 10 years now. And 10 years ago, I actually originally trained him. He went to my insurance class, and a great guy. He come to work here. After the first week, I asked him, hey, man, how's it going? What do you think? What do you think off the top of your head right now? What's the first thing on your head about Entrekin Insurance? He said, wow, man, nobody down here is doing what you're doing. He said, nobody. He said, all of this is awesome. He said, if I was to open an agency, this is what I think it needs to be. How did I do that? A tech stack. 10 years ago, I couldn't tell you what tech stack was. I didn't even know the verbiage. Had no idea. If you ask anyone, what's a definition of tech stack? Not many people can tell you.
Right.
But for me, it's I'm using people who have created programs, which is way smarter than me, because I'm about as sharp as a bowling ball. Right? But I want to make sure that I get that, that education and that wisdom to my clientele, because I want to keep my bowling ball nice and shiny.
You're killing me.
I love it. One-liners galore. Okay, so you've already shared so much there, but I would love to. The last question I ask all my guests right now is, because I'm just a sponge right now, is what advice would you give to any agency owner listening, or producer or CSR, whoever might be listening in their car right now, or running on the treadmill, whatever it might be, which if they're on the treadmill, they've probably fallen off several times laughing at this one, but or just having their mind blown with the knowledge you've dropped. What's that advice that you would give them as related to building a tech stack, building an agency, customer service, any of the wonderful topics we've talked about today? What's a good piece of advice you would give them as we end this podcast today?
3 words.
That's awesome.
Just be you.
Just be you.
That's it. Be you. Because you make your agency. Entrekin Insurance is nothing without me. And what I mean by that is, brother, I poured my heart and soul into this business. It is what it is because I genuinely care. I want what's within the best interest of my clientele. I haven't forgotten my fiduciary responsibility. So prior to the insurance life, I was in law enforcement. So I am used to serving. Just what capacity? So when I realized my true time of need was I really needed to understand my insurance. And there are so many others out there. So those that are listening, remember, be you. We are the licensed professionals. It's up to us to help educate and guide our clientele, just like our children and our family members.
Dude.
But never be afraid. Always learn. The day that you stop perfecting your craft is the day you need to open the door and go home.
Love it.
It's ever evolving. It's ever changing.
Thank you.
Iron will always sharpen iron.
Dude, thank you so much for ending in that way. It reminds me of one of Chad's OMC's mottos, if you do you, boo. And so he tells me that, like, you do you, boo. It's all good. So, and I can appreciate that and what you're saying and what Chad says, and just that, be authentic, be yourself, and never stop growing is what it sounds like from you. And I appreciate that. I can't thank you enough for hanging out. You've made 2 new best friends and brothers, in Chad and I, and you gave Chad a new nickname of OMC. We may have to start running with that one. I love it.
I'll just run with it.
And I love I'm going to use that. I'm smart enough to realize how stupid I am.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's great too. So many one-liners we could use from this episode. But thank you.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah. I mean, bowling balls and,
Yep, sharp as a bowling ball. I like that. So, again, audience, I know you've enjoyed this as much as I have. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to find Jody, go to LinkedIn and connect with them on LinkedIn. Correct, Jody? Is that cool?
Yes, sir.
And if you want to connect with him on his website, it's entrekininsurance.com. Or
entrekinins.com.
Got it. And that's ENTREKININS.com. Right?
Yes, sir.
Go find him there. And while you're looking for stuff and finding stuff, find this podcast. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Wherever you're listening, whether it's Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, wherever you're listening,
drop a bowling ball on it.
Yeah, drop a bowling ball on that
that
button. And if you're on YouTube, please comment, leave a subscribe, all the things, because we love interacting with you and engaging with you. And again, stay tuned. We have way more fun episodes coming up too in this season. So check it out, and we will see you on the next one.